What's up everybody, Rob Marzullo here, Ramp Studio Comics. Welcome back. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to draw a female face at 3 different ages. And also, this video is sponsored by svslearn.com, a comics tutorial site. If you sign up now and use the promo code COMIC, all caps, you'll receive a discount. See the link below. They've got some great stuff over there, so be sure to check them out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And first off, we'll designate some kind of head shape. Now, from drawing various ages, the biggest difference I would say is the head shape. You know, you got the facial features are a bit different. The head shape is quite different from various age categories. So I'm going to start off with a basic template like this. And I'll just copy this over, and it'll show us how different the head shapes and the overall character will get from age to age. So I'll just duplicate this a couple times. And that'll give us our starting point. Go back to the first one. And one of the things that I noticed when drawing like a really young person, more to like baby or, 2 or 3, is that a couple things, I guess. The cheeks are a lot bigger. The eyes appear to be a lot bigger in comparison to the head shape. So I generally go for those features first because to me the things that are more impactful or noticeable is going to help carry through the rest of the drawing. So, if you start with these and you possibly get these correct, then the rest of it should be able to lean on this a little bit. Obviously you want to try to get all of it correct, but sometimes it's hard to do. So you just want to make sure that you get at least a couple things in there that are pretty right. So we'll start off with the big eyes. You can just kind of do 2 rounded half moon shapes to get eyes, and then you can worry about how they point, how the the little tear duct area looks right there. But for now, we'll just get a basic shape in there like that. And another thing when they're real tiny is the nose is just really small. It's almost like the eyes take precedence. The other features are just really tiny. So a tiny little nose, tiny little mouth. Ears are kind of a little bit chubbier but small. Obviously all these features can change dramatically from person to person, so you just have to take this basic understanding and then study your character or your person or whoever you're trying to create. Yeah, and then the mouth appears just to be really small, almost the width of the nose at this younger age. We'll say this age is about, 3. So just a really tiny little baby mouth. You little baby. It's a little baby. Something like that. And the other thing to kind of keep in mind is that the pudginess of the fatty parts of the face, like the cheeks, the tissue or mass around the mouth, stuff like that, is all kind of pudgy and, the baby fat thing that we all talk about. So, and the cheeks can be even bigger. So, again, I started with the same facial shape, but I'll keep kind of nudging it, moving it around. I always look at, like when I'm drawing, I always look at it like I'm molding a piece of clay. It helps you to not feel so bad about changing your work as you go. It's just a piece of clay and you want to just keep pushing those forms around until you get what looks right. Plus if you study your work enough, even if you don't know what direction to take, if you're used to training your eye to see flaws, then you can just keep maneuvering your work until you get it to the right spot, which seems daunting in that perspective, but at least there's some comfort in knowing that if you ultimately train your eye to see flaws, then you'll be able to keep progressing forward through your work. All right, and the eyelids, I don't know if there's anything too specific. One thing to keep in mind from the younger to the older is that the younger person's eyes will be very vibrant, not tired looking. So, by the time you get to the older looking eyes, you're going to end up making the eyes look a bit more tired, obviously wrinkled and things, but when you draw a youth, their eyes should look very awake and vibrant. So that means pupils centered, which tends to look very alert and awake. Eyebrows tilted back as if learning and observing. We don't want any mad babies. The neck doesn't thin out as much at this age, so the neck can be a little bit wider. Even wider than that. They kind of have this little baby fat on their neck still. And the other thing is the head is even bigger. The cranium would be larger at this point in life in comparison to the face. So you can kind of bring the head up and larger like this. For all those growing brains, those sponge-like brains that they're trying to fill. Like that. And I'd probably even widen the eyes apart just a little bit more. Maybe move this one over, like so. Oh. And I would say hair is hair. I mean, definitely the hair in your youth and your teenage years is going to be more flowing and a little more lifelike to when your hair. The only thing I've noticed when you draw like extremely elderly hair is that it can tend to look a lot more wiry from gray hair and things like that. Other than that, hair is hair, but and I think I need to move those eyes down because I'm noticing two things. The eyes look a touch high, and it's creating too large of a length right here from the eyes to the nose. Okay, so there's my rough to get all the features in place, and then now I'll go ahead and refine that. I'll go ahead and time lapse this next part and refine this a bit, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so there's the first one, and I would say if there was a few things that could have been done better, I think maybe the size of the head needs to show a little bit more. Maybe the hairline needs to be up a little bit higher to show more youth, um, and just maybe the shape overall from the cheeks to the jawline and stuff like that. So, this is just my interpretation to kind of get the ball rolling for you. Um, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. And now I'll show, I'm picturing that this one to the left is anywhere from 4 or 5, looks like a 4 or 5 year old. Um, so the next one will shoot for more teenage years, followed by the last one, which will be more elderly, so that we can show some difference in age there. All right, so obviously there's going to be a little bit more size difference, so I'll increase the size to show that. Now, what tends to happen, in my opinion, from this age is more defined cheekbones, facial structure. The head doesn't look so big in comparison. The neck will appear slimmer and more elongated. The facial features won't be so tucked down. If you notice, I actually squished down the facial features more on the child, and I think that could even go a touch down, just a touch further. But once the face, the person gets older, the facial features begin to span out further over the overall facial area. So if you were to draw the hairline, maybe it would be somewhere in there in comparison to the rest of the facial features like this. And these are just general guidelines. You're going to obviously do whatever looks right to you, and also fit in a certain amount of your own style while doing this. Now, although I want to get the same basic shape of the eyes, the proportions are going to be slightly different, and I'm also going to accentuate the eyelashes more. I think I actually over accentuated them too much on the figure to the left, but I'll make sure to try to show some difference there. So, and probably not so overly wide and rounded also. Probably take a little bit of that out. And I'll also change the expression just a little bit. Instead of having the eyebrows so rounded back, I'll just straighten them out just a little bit. See if that helps to show a little bit more age in the brow. And I'm just kind of roughing this in, trying to get a feel for, I'm studying the one to the left, but also I'm trying to think in terms of, more of a teenager to an adult structure. And I also want to elongate the mouth a bit more. The general rule is the middle of the pupils will be the edge of the mouth in a standard expression. So I'll go with that. And I think I'm going to pull those features down just a little bit. So yeah, so now I want the face to look a little bit more, let me get rid of some of this construction line work here, a little bit more angular than the initial roundedness of the child's face. So that's something that I see when trying to draw someone a little bit older. Okay, and the ears would be the same. I guess they would look a little bit larger in comparison. And obviously the hairstyle would be probably a lot different. So picture that the hairline is about here. Draw a basic hair shape. Something like that. And that would be our rough. And I think proportion wise the head would still need to be larger. Maybe like that. Yeah, so that gives us our placement and gets us started. Now I'll go ahead and time lapse this next portion and refine this a bit more and see what we come up with. Okay, so there's stage 2 of the drawing, and she's probably at about this age. I would say I was thinking more in the age of like 18 to 20, somewhere in there, so teenage to beginning adult life. So now the last one, we'll do more of an aged face, more of like in your senior years. Now, just to speed this up, because this video is getting a bit lengthy already, it's funny how they tend to do that. I'll go ahead and duplicate this layer, and I'm going to cheat just a little bit here. And I'm sure this is where the negative comments will begin to ensue. But it's also smart to do this, if you're really faced with a tight deadline and you can see ways to save time and not neglect quality, then I recommend doing stuff like this. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to change your hairstyle to also show age. And then I'm just going to add added facial lines. Go ahead and give her a little bit of a haircut here. Let's use a soft erase so I can redraw the ears back in, because I'm going to give her a shorter hairstyle here. But the cool thing about doing it this way is we've already got, from this portion of the age difference, I think the only things that really change a lot are wrinkles, and then you're going to get a little bit more sunken in features. Well, not necessarily. They could gain weight and you wouldn't have. But generally, age-wise, you start seeing more of the cheekbones, like this, more of the laugh lines. I was going to say crow's feet. Those are up here, aren't they? Crow's feet. The wrinkles under the eyes start to get further over, like this. Like this. I would say the eyes tend to maybe droop or sag a little bit more, or maybe it just appears that way because the skin around them. You get a little bit more of the frown lines. See, she's already starting to look a lot older. Age progression right before your very eyes. And we see your ears now. I don't think the ears change a whole lot. I'm sure they do a little bit, but I don't think it's dramatic. I want to say that your ears and your nose never stop growing. Or maybe somebody just told me that, but it always seems apparent in elderly people that they have larger ears and noses, in which case I'm totally in trouble. I mean, they're big enough as it is, so yeah, that's not good. I'm hoping that was a lie. Somebody told me. Alright, so and a little bit of hair on the side of the ears, or side of the face there. And we'll give her the little old lady's bun, hair bun. That seems to be so popular in the elderly community. I don't know why I'm talking about it like it's some outside group, because I'm pretty much joining the group really quick here. Time is a flying. You gotta do little scraggly hairs. Alright, at any rate. So there's the crow's feet, the side, the side wrinkles to the mouth there, the laugh lines, even the chin I think would get just a little bit more defined, because like I said, that essentially what's happening, the cheekbones and the jaw lines or the lines are showing up a little bit more, whether it be the skin just kind of sagging or drooping, or the loss of weight. One or both of those, I guess, would make that effect. You can add the little lines that you get on the neck like this. You don't want to overdo it. The more you do it, it's going to look, you can quickly make her look really old, but I mean, that's kind of the point of showing, how to draw age. So I think the necklines are a little much, so let me soften those up just a bit. And to increase the age, you're just going to want to draw these lines out more defined and more elongated. So you just study your photos and see, how the wrinkles work and the directions they take. And I would say one last thing is maybe even thin the lips up. I think the lips even tend to become less full over the years. Yep, and that's really about it. That's how I would approach drawing a character aging, 3 different age categories or 3 different ages. If this video is helpful, please let me know. Please let me know what you'd like to see in the future. This was actually a request, a video request that I answered. So there'll be more of those. So be sure to let me know what you'd like to see on this channel and I will add it to the list. And as always, keep drawing, keep having fun, and thank you for watching.